Hi, my name is Kelly Frantz-Langford, and I'm excited to take a few minutes to share some of my professional goals with you. A little bit about me. Prominently displayed are my three children. We have one who has started his freshman year at KU, another who is in his sophomore year at high school, and our youngest is in her kindergarten year. And we also had a COVID puppy, so that's been an exciting new addition to my family. Um, and then in the far right, you'll see our whole family. Particularly wanted to point out my husband, who has been an incredible source of strength for us during this time. Um, some things about me is I like to call myself a travel wisher. That is one of the most important things on um, my to-do list, which we'll go over in a few minutes. I love politics. I certainly have some fairly strong opinions, and so I try to dedicate some of my social media channels to just national politics, not anyone I know locally, so I have a chance to express my opinion and not get into too many personal debates. I also like to call myself an early childhood nerd. I love everything early childhood. I have for a long time. And so anything that I can read, I love to advocate, particularly for policies that support early childhood communities. It's just always been my passion. My educational background, I have a bachelor's in psychology from the University of Kansas. After I graduated, I worked in a child care center as a program director. And this child care center was dedicated to children that had behavioral issues and supporting them in placements. But at one point, we had a child, her mom came and talked to us about taking her in because she was having a hard time finding childcare. Her daughter had a diagnosis of osteogenesis imperfecta. And I felt very strongly that we could do this, but my director decided that that wasn't a good match for us. And it really changed my perspective on how to include all children in communities so that they can participate just like everyone else, which led me to getting my master's degree in early childhood special education, which I did in 2004. I've worked in early intervention since graduating in 2004. And then this year, decided to go back and try for my building administrator endorsement. So summer 2021 is a hopeful and anticipated graduation date. I'm currently employed by TARC Children's Services. TARC, our programs support parents and children with disabilities or developmental delays, helping them to enjoy and succeed in life. We have several programs that operate out of that department. Our largest is the Birth to Three Special Education Program. And because of the way special education categorical aid works, I am an employee of Greenbush. We have an employment contract with Greenbush, and I'm the assistant director at TARC Children's Services. So it's been a great relationship. Both TARC and Greenbush are really committed to doing what's best for children and families, and I've had some very strong mentors and big shoes to fill. As far as my professional activities, I'm currently the president of the Tiny K Alliance, which really brings my two passions together. The Tiny K Alliance is the advocacy group for local Tiny K programs across the state. I'm also a member of the Early Childhood Recommendations Panel. This is the first year of the panel, and we operate underneath the Children's Cabinet as a group that works to identify both strengths and barriers in our early childhood system. As far as personal goals, in the next 1 to 5 years, as you can see, my duties as a mom will probably be the main driver of that. So I'm hoping that we have several graduations coming up, including my own from the non-degree seeking endorsement program, but still it will be an important milestone for me. Also, our two boys, I'm hoping have some graduations coming in the next few years. We are reaching one of our big goals as a family. We have a vacation planned in June, so really keeping our fingers crossed that COVID doesn't disrupt that too much. In the next 6 to 10 years, I'd like to continue to travel. We haven't been able to do much of that as a family, and I really think it's important for our children to see the world outside of Kansas. We have some house addition goals that we'd like to achieve. And then beyond 10 years, I hope it's not terrible to say, but I'm really looking forward to those empty nesting years with my husband, retirement, and then hopefully more travel. As far as professional goals, in the next 1 to 5 years, I'd like to move from assistant director to director, and I'm hoping that will actually happen within the next year. My director's retiring, and so we've been working on a sustainability plan for our department. I'd also like to grow our PACT program. PACT stands for Parents and Children Together, and it's a group that supports parents that have developmental disabilities who are parenting young children. I think it's an important program, and there aren't very many like it, really, in the entire state. In the next 6 to 10 years, I'd really be interested in a statewide position, not necessarily working for the state, but something bigger than a local program, and might consider getting a district license if that helps me move forward in my career. And beyond 10 years, at some point, I think I'd really enjoy local politics. And my other big goal is working with parents who are at risk for their children being in the foster care system. There are some really interesting mentor parent programs and sort of intervening at those critical stages to hopefully keep children with their parents rather than going into foster care. So it would be a very different step for me, but something that I find very meaningful. Why Fort Hays State? Fort Hays State is certainly a reputable school, college, university in our state. I've hired some Fort Hays State graduates, and so I know that they're well prepared for the workforce. I also appreciate that there's a non-degree seeking option. I really didn't want a second master's degree, and so this seemed to be a perfect fit. And then the final reason is that it's online. Being a mom and working full-time, the ability to fit this in during parts of my day, those sort of non-traditional hours, has been very helpful to me. As far as my expectations, I certainly want to improve my leadership skills, and I also would like to come away from the program with improved knowledge of education, finance, and law. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my introduction.